Hey folks, doing here of None here with your Mundus Minute for January 31st, 2020. News, luxury merchant, and gold merchant stuff, all in a few minutes. So first up in the news, ESO Live was canceled today. Technical issues prevented them from streaming, so they unfortunately had to reschedule for another date is currently the plan. We'll see when that's going to happen. In the meantime, there is a few updates coming up with the performance enhancements where they've just announced that the memory management stuff has gone through, the group looking for group system updates have gone through, but with the next patch to update 25, we're going to be looking at the patching overhaul, which again will cause everyone to have to re-download ESO to their PC, but it will be a smaller install now, especially useful for folks who've been running out of space on their hard drives. Faster loading for fixtures and characters. Behind the scenes combat ability improvements. That includes the block changes that we've all seen. Just to note on the block changes as well, they are still fixing things, and a majority, there's a lot of bits of information going around about this, but for a majority of folks out there, the speed is still the same. It's just the animation is prioritizing the actual attack animation now rather than the block animation. So you're still getting the speed of combat, but now it's actually showing the hit going through while also having the block icon showing above. So it's not any slower. The only issue they are having is that when you're trying to block and bar swap, which they seem to break every time they touch block, is currently bugged, and they are working on that right now. They also are working on a frame rate improvement. Part of the thing is, part of the changes that have made ESO go over to multi-core. So if you have a 64-bit PC, which I think everyone should have at this point, you are going to see performance increase because now it's actually going to use all cores. From this testing, they've actually added a few things for update 26, which should be the new Greymore expansion, which should be changes to pets, player characters, multi-threading for fixture creation and clients, fixture creations, fixes on that, and the new ones are character updates, working around characters are drawn with the client spreading across the multiple cores, and FX, visual effects, which should now be identified in the first part of the effects, yada yada yada. It's basically going to hit all the cores now rather than all that. And also behind the scenes combat ability improvements on phase 3. So yeah, they fixed a lot from what I can see in PTS. I do have a more stable game on PTS myself. I'm hoping that's going to transfer over to live myself. Also, if you guys have been participating in Mid-Year Mayhem, remember you got till the 3rd to get into there and to get your loot boxes, get your increased AP and all that good stuff. If you guys have a character that you kind of held off to the side, make sure to go ahead and get the AP buff. You remember, you can get that AP buff for a little bit of time after the event ends. I believe it should still work. Using that scroll of ferocity, and yeah, just use that to get a little bit more AP during that after the event ends. So next up, let's take a look at the luxury merchant and golden merchant tonight. If it wants to load, there we go. So Reichling stuff again. Yeah, so those ice goblins have been celebrated here, and hopefully we're gonna get ourselves some new stuff next week as well. But if you like kind of a Stone Age type of look, might work out for you. Now on the Golden Merchant, again, it's all PvP sets for 500 AP right now. If you don't want to pay that, if you want to go for something else instead, understandable. But there are a few good sets out there for PvE and PvP. So if you're not a PvPer, but you have the AP, this will be a good time to do it. If you don't have any AP whatsoever, now's the time to shop for deals, because some PvPers do want to turn that AP over to gold. So my recommendations: take a look at Deadly Rings. This is good for PvE. Ravaging, also good for PvE. Ebon, good for tanking. Ring of Marantong. Marantong is kind of a niche set for anyone that's running a poison build. And Spell Strategist for PvEers out there. For PvPers, Curse Ring is getting a buff next patch. It's going to be It's gonna have an 8-second cooldown to each player instead of on the caster. So you're gonna be able to remove 3 effects every time you do a direct heal per player. So that can get kind of nasty, especially with just one healing springs in one area. Deadly can still be okay, but no, let's Fury. Fury is kind of meta for any of your stamina builds out there. Vicious Death, even though it kind of sucks at times because they did reduce the radius. If you want to make a bomb build, Vicious Death can be kind of nasty when you have people just stacked up on no flag and you want to run straight into them with a few well-timed proxy deaths. Spell Strategist, I would still recommend. And if you want to be a healer in PvP, Ring of Transmutation is quite helpful. It's pretty bad to get. So go ahead and get all those sets right now. If you see another sets you want, go ahead, get them now before it goes away. All right. Anyways, I'm here with None. That's Mundus Minute. I'll see you on Tamriel.